It's been roughly 1 year since the start of the pandemic, and there's still so much we don't know about coronavirus, including when it comes to long haulers. What are we dealing with? Those people who are having ongoing symptoms for weeks, even months after getting sick. And now the NIH is tracking 20,000 people. It's a $1 billion study on their persisting symptoms. And it's not just the elderly or those with pre-existing conditions. It's young people in perfectly fine health wondering if they'll ever get better.
I fear that some people who have had these effects, who are already 3 or 4 months out, may not be on a path to get better in a few more months, and this could be something that becomes a chronic illness. And that's a kind of frightening thing to contemplate when you consider we know 28 million people in the United States have had COVID. If even 1% of them have chronic long-term consequences, that's a whole lot of people.
If you've been watching with us First at 4 over the last several months, you might recognize our next guest. Katie Walter is a 39-year-old mother of 2 who first tested positive for COVID-19 in May of 2020 and then subsequently tested positive several more times over the next several months and is still dealing with the lasting effects of the virus. She joins us now from McHenry, Illinois. Katie, it's always great to talk to you. 10 months later,
thank you. Likewise.
You have learned something about this virus just in the last several days. What have you learned?
Well, for me personally, I found out that I have antibodies for Epstein-Barr. So I had mono back when I was 22, and apparently COVID reactivated it. I brought it up to several doctors, and everybody kind of blew me off a little bit. And but a doctor just recently tested me for that. And I have antibodies from a long time ago that are elevated. That's normal. But then one of the antibodies is elevated, which means that it is reactivated.
So Epstein-Barr reactivates, which has many of the same symptoms that COVID has given you, with fatigue and breathing issues. What are you still dealing with now?
Well, now I am getting better. I am. Every month I do notice a difference. I still have that issue with trying to exercise or do minimal exercise, like yoga or going for just a walk in the woods with my kids. That's still it'll set me back a few days.
You can't breathe during those things?
No, it's like I feel nauseous. It makes me, during it, it's not always so bad. I don't really like the feeling of when my heart rate raises. It makes me nauseous. And then the next day and the next day and the next day, like for the next 4 days, I don't feel good.
Every day, you had talked to us in the early months that there's a period every day where you don't feel good. Do you have longer stretches now where you actually feel good? And if there are lingering symptoms, do you still have that brain fog?
I still have the brain fog. That is not fun, but it is getting better. I have to make sure that I get enough sleep. And I know lack of sleep causes brain fog anyways, but it makes it much, much worse for me having COVID. It's really brain fog and that exercise piece that I don't feel good when I try to do minimal exertion.
You have changed your diet, you've changed your habits, you're extremely positive. I know you meditate and pray and work on a lot of these things. Here comes the vaccine. What are you going to do with the vaccine? You're a teacher and you are eligible to be vaccinated. Have you been vaccinated? Will you get vaccinated?
I can get vaccinated. I can sign up right now if I wanted to. The doctors that I've talked to so far recommend me getting it because me getting COVID again is worse than getting the vaccine. But I'm scared. I'm scared to have it set me back. You know, if I'm still dealing with some stuff and then I get the vaccine and it throws my immune system off, I'm scared. I'm finally feeling close to myself. And we wish you the best with that decision and to listen to your doctors on that, and we know you're going to get better. Thanks so much for spending so much time with us, and like I said, we're going to stay positive with you, Katie. Thank you so much.